Welcome to the podcast, where today's episode is Battle at the Pond, Dipplin. For all you newcomers, our exciting Battle at the Pond series is where we train the same Pokemon in secret and reveal our strategies live. Our goal is to inspire out-of-the-box thinking and showcase the boundless possibilities of Pokemon training. Let's dive into it. Dipplin is our Gen 9 evolution to Applin from the DLC. Its typing is Grass Dragon, making it 4 times weak to Ice, 2 times weak to Flying, Poison, Bug, Dragon, and Fairy, takes half damage from Ground and quarter damage from Water, Grass, and Electric typing. Its abilities are Super Sweet Syrup, which is a unique ability unto itself, where it lowers the evasion of the opposing Pokemon by 1 stage when it first sent into battle. Its other ability is Gluttony, which uses the berry held when hit points reach 50%, and its hidden ability is Sticky Hold, which the held item cannot be taken. His base stats are 485 with 80 in hit points, 80 in attack, 110 in defense, 95 in special attack, 80 in special defense, and a speed of 40.
My Dipplin, I had no idea how to build this at first. I don't know, as a Pokemon, it wasn't, I just didn't know what to do with it. And then after looking at some of the stuff it gets, I gave it a very defensive role in maxing out its HP with 252, 200 points into its special defense, and 56 points or EVs into his defense, kind of bringing it to an even 270. Oh, I level 100, 270 defense and special defense. And then I gave it a sassy nature, which would help to raise its special defense more and lower its speed, since its speed is terrible as it is already. And accordance with that, I put in the Rocky Helmet for the item. I give it a Steel Terra typing, and the ability I'm using is Super Sweet Syrup. For its moveset, I went with Recover for more sustainability. I went with Reflect to give it even more defense, the reduction in the physical attacks. I gave it its signature move Syrup Bomb, which I thought might have been just a really cool move to use, especially if I'm taking this into a doubles kind of setup. I can use it on the speedier mod to slow down. And then just for type coverage in general, and it's a little bit counter, I put Gyro Ball so that it does get a little bit of the stab from the Steel Terra typing, and then because of how slow it is already in general, then it'll dish out some damage, and especially if against fairy types.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting way to go with Dipplin. I didn't really imagine seeing it as sort of this tankier build with the emphasis on, it being able to take some hits and then using something like Gyro Ball. I think that's a pretty cool way to go. Yeah, I mean, Dipplin was an interesting one for me. I feel like it didn't really have an extensive moveset, so, going a different route, at least for my build, it's pretty interesting to see that, so I think that's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie, the Gyro Ball does kind of throw me for a loop, considering that you're lowering its speed with the Syrup Bomb, and Dipplin isn't the fastest Pokemon. You really got to invest in that speed in order for it to make, to look to be decent. So bringing down Pokemon, it's an odd choice, but I do kind of like the fact that you are capitalizing on the fact that you're baiting fairy types by going Steel and using Gyro Ball to your advantage at that point. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it might harm you in some respects, but in others, it also might give you an advantage that they won't see coming.
My Dipplin is named Carmi after caramel, because I chose the shiny one. It looks like a caramel apple, with lots of caramel on it. I love it. So the EV spread was going to be 252 on special attack, 252 on special defense, 4 on HP, giving it a total special attack stat of 317. That's including the IV on special attack. So it's got 5 IVs. It doesn't have any IVs on attack, because I don't think it would be necessary for my build. I went with Modest Nature to up the special attack, lower the attack. And I gave it a Mirror Herb and the ability Sticky Hold. I kind of don't want any opposing Pokemon to be able to take away the Mirror Herb, so that's why I went that route. Terra-type Steel, obviously because of its weaknesses. And the moves that I gave it, or the strategy that I was trying to go for, was usually first turn, Pokemon or opposing Pokemons are going to go for stat boosts, if possible. Or at least that's been my experience. So the plan is, if, you know, they're obviously going to go first, considering that Diplin's really slow. So once it gets a stat boost, it'll go ahead and rock a stat boost with Mirror Herb. And then my first move would be Infestation to trap the opposing Pokemon. So not only would I essentially, or the plan is to get a stat boost, but I'd also trap that Pokemon there with me. And the idea is making Diplin last at least 3 turns. So once it's done that with Infestation, the next move would be to use Syrup Bomb to lower their speed stat for 3 turns consecutively. And then the next 2 moves are either Recycle or Recover. So basically, I'd Recycle the Mirror Herb and Recover if needed, to then continue spamming Infestation's Syrup Bomb, hopefully expecting Diplin to survive a couple of hits and just sort of cheese my way out of that fight. And yeah, you know, hopefully with the EVs on special attack and special defense, not only be a little bit tanky, but also deal some considerable damage.
I like it. I like it. Like, I didn't even think about like using Mirror that way, and I kind of totally forgot that this thing can use Recycle. So that's actually pretty cool. And then the fact that you're like stopping the enemy from like leaving with the Infestation, that's really cool. Doesn't Infestation also like eat berries or something too, just in case? I don't remember if that's how it worked, but
I think you're thinking of another move.
You're thinking of, I think, Bug Bite.
Yep, that it is Bug Bite. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, that's really cool. And then like, you know, Recover for the more sustain, and then like if they try to like stat boost some more, and then you still have that Mirror Herb, then you just, you know, you're copying their stats. Their stat increases. I love it.
Thanks.
And then Sticky Hold. Was it? I think it prevents the item from being like knocked off or something, right? If I remember correctly. So very nice, very nice.
'Cause we're brothers, identical brothers.
Oh my goodness.
So I have to say, number one, kudos to some of your move choices, because I might have chosen the same ones. But the Mirror Herb Recycle didn't even dawn on me, and I think that's a great idea, because not only do you burn it as soon as they use a move that boosts their stats, but now you can recycle, and if they try to do it again thinking, oh, I'll just do it again, and this time he can't copy it. No, it's recycle. Haha, I get to do it again. So it really just throws that in. And then, of course, locking them in with Infestation basically means that they're at your mercy until you are either knocked out or they can survive long enough to swap out, which hopefully by then you'll be able to drop another Infestation.
Right.
So, I dig it.
Thanks. You know, I did have some different, you know, mentioning again the whole fact of Diplin not having such a spread on the moveset. I was considering like different scenarios. I think this for me is the route that I would go if I was in single battles. If it's double battles, it'd be a totally different story. You know, I love the idea when we did the Gourgeist episode and that whole pickup thing. I was sort of thinking about a way to do that with Diplin and the Mirror Herb. Other, you know, moves that I sort of saw that could have been really cool in double battles were Pollen Puff. I think is a really cool move, since it has the potential to either inflict damage to the opponent or restore hit points to your ally Pokemon. I really like the idea of that. So I don't know. I feel like Diplin would be cooler in a double battle than a single battle with it.
I think I would have to agree with you. That actually brings us to my build. Because, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Diplin would be a much better Pokemon in a double battle. But that being said, I tried to do what I could with it in the single mindset. So even if playing through the DLC with one, first off, I give it the item the Big Root, because Big Root boosts the damage of certain types of moves, which I'll get into shortly. I made sure that I gave it the Terra-type Grass to capitalize on its typing and what I plan on doing. The ability I gave it, of course, was Super Sweet Syrup, because dropping Diplin in and lowering my opponent's evasion means that I don't have to worry about accuracy as much. Then moving into the movesets, I gave it Sweet Scent to lower the evasion even further. So within the first turn, I've lowered your evasion by 3 stages, which is great. Infestation to keep you in the battle so you can't escape. Now you can't escape me, and you're going to be taking hits. To capitalize even further, I slapped on Syrup Bomb because I want to drop your stats even further. So I'm making you slower, I'm making you less evasive, and eventually I'm going to hit you with Giga Drain, which is where the big root comes into play, because I'm going to be taking some damage, but I'm going to be getting it right back from my opponent. And to help with that, and to make sure that I stay in it for as long as possible, I put 252 into the special attack, I put 252 into the speed, and the rest went into special defense, and I also decided to give it a timid nature. This way, I'm dealing the most possible damage off of Giga Drain while trying to speed up a very slow Dipplin.
Yeah, so I think it's really cool, right? You see Dipplin's ability of Super Sweet Syrup to lower the evasiveness, and your mind sort of gravitates to that first. I sort of initially had thoughts when I was making my build, though I didn't really pay attention to any of that. As soon as I saw Sticky Hold, I was like, okay, well, let me try to find an item for it. I think the evasion route is really cool, and the Big Root, I didn't even notice Big Root with the Giga Drain just seems like such a solid combo. You know, Dipplin, you know, like we mentioned before, seems like such a much more effective Pokemon in double battles, because I feel like it can use a lot of technicalities on other Pokemon, or inflicting various status moves on other Pokemon to disrupt their stats or keep them locked in, lower their evasion, and then just bleed them dry with these HP sapping moves. So I absolutely love this build that you've made.
Yeah, I love this Big Root Giga Drain combo. Like just you know, getting all that more sustain, and then the fact that you're also using Infestation. Oh man, it's gonna be and especially in a doubles battle too, because like I mean I know you don't switch out as much in doubles as you would a singles game, but then like that prevention from swapping out is really nice, especially if you are gonna, like, you know, go with the whole like Syrup Bomb combo as well. So it's like, oh sorry, you have no chance of like resetting your speed whatsoever, and then like now your evasion is also going down as well because of the Sweet Scent. So it's like, yeah, now like if I have like this thing partnered up with like maybe like my ace hitter or something, you know, it's gonna, you know, you're gonna have that slight advantage, because like, yeah, maybe that person's Pokemon just got like, you know, his speed drop. You're gonna have a lot more time hitting moves like Hydro Pump or like Fire Blast, or, you know, all those like lower accuracy moves. So like that's gonna be really sweet.
Unintended?
Not at all, actually. Not at
Love it.
all.
Love it.
Well, the nice thing
man.
is that Infestation, Syrup Bomb do damage. They run off the special attack, which means they are gonna be hitting hard to start, and just the Giga Drain is just gonna keep sapping whatever hit points back up to me. So hopefully I can sustain the hits long. And surprisingly, its defensive stat is really solid, considering, you know, it's a buck 30.
It's respectable.
Yeah, it's actually pretty respectable. And then, you know, its special defense is at 100, which isn't bad either. And its hit points, sorry, at level 50, you're talking about 155 on the hit point scale. That's just not terrible at all.
And you're telling me there's a possibility this thing might evolve? Excuse me?
Yeah, that's the rumor, that there's still an evolution. So imagine swapping out Big Root for Eviolite.
Oh man.
Big Root. You guys aren't wrong about Dipplin. It definitely feels more like it's a controller style Pokemon. It has a lot of the moves that are good setup moves for being a partner Pokemon. It doesn't really have a whole lot going for it as far as being an actual aggressive type Pokemon, at least not particular stats. But it doesn't mean that you can't crank out something really decent. I mean, it's got a 95 at special attack stats, so I mean, you could use Solar Beam, you can use Leaf Storm. You're gonna hurt for it, but those are options. But I mean, you've got moves like Astonish and Dragon's Breath, Body Slam. You know, even though the stats are weaker on some of those moves, the potential for status effects is pretty good. It gets a couple of them that's got a 30% chance to stat. So, although it does get Grassy Glide, which is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah,
it's all
that
that
priority.
Grassy Glide and Bug Bite. I mean, it has strong moves. It's got Giga Impact, Outrage, Leaf Storm, Solar Beam, Draco Meteor. Like, it's getting the big, heavy hitting attacks, but these are the same attacks that have such a drawback for using them. It just kind of makes Dipplin feel, to me anyway, that it's kind of meh when you try to go for an all-out aggressive build, but when you try to work it as something that can throw some status out there, especially with its ability and its signature move, it just screams, hey, watch me debuff my opponent's Pokemon. But remember, it's evasion, which means that any of your Pokemon can hit better.
In before this thing gets something like Sheer Force?
Jeez. That's all you need is Sheer Force Apple.
Oh yeah, if they put Sheer Force on the apple, I'd call it Isaac.
Oh.
And with that brings this episode to a close. What are your thoughts about our Dipplin builds? How would you build one? Let us know down below. And also, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.